Welcome back to another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm Ben Knight, your favorite redneck, joined by Mr. 43X, your favorite hillbilly, Dustin Lee. And boy, do we have an exciting interview tonight, don't we?
Yeah,
We
I
just got
I
done.
enjoyed it.
I'm amped up. I won't go to sleep till night until probably
Talked
like
about
1
Dale
a.m.
Earnhart. I
Wow.
mean, it was
You
a good one.
already know. You already
Yeah.
know. Mr. Steve Johnson's getting ready to race his 500th Pro Stock motorcycle race. We won't spoil anymore because you'll hear about it. But wow, that was an exciting interview, and I think y'all will enjoy this one. What do you think?
I mean, I want a funnel cake now, and they'll see why later.
But no, it was a great interview, and we all three worked hard to get this in. Steve's traveling out there on the West Coast right now. You'll see, he was in the airport Delta Lounge, and
He really accommodated to us some today because
for
I was
sure,
busy and Ben was busy, and then he made it happen. So
yeah, for sure. So we wanted to get that done. 500 races this weekend. That's a
n-
career.
nobody's ever done it.
No,
It's
so.
something to be so proud of, and true definition of dedicating your life to something.
That's what I really like about this interview is Steve really goes down some, some info rabbit holes, whatever you want to call them, about, really what he's dedicated and devoted his life to. And yes, it's pro
Yeah.
stock motorcycles, but it's so much more than that. So I hope
There's
you all enjoy
marketing
this one.
advice.
Yeah.
Just take it in. I mean, everybody knows Steve. If you're listening to
Yeah.
this, you know Steve,
Yeah.
right? And Steve is WFO.
Yeah.
So it was,
Exactly.
and there, to be honest, this might be one of the first times that it's probably safe for work.
It's pretty
I
clean.
don't,
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah, there
clean.
might
I
have been
think there
like
was
one or
an
two little
S
bad words in
word a
there.
little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, but I mean, this one's might be safe for
Might be
work.
safe for work.
Look,
Might
pat
be.
us on the head,
That's
guys.
right.
Look at us
Woo!
go.
High five. It's all the love. Let's see if we can
Yeah,
get some fireworks or something. There's
there it
hearts.
is.
All right, there we go. All right, so we're not going to take too long. We are going to shout out you all, the loyal listeners, of course, subscribers, donators. We appreciate it, and our awesome sponsors. Yeah, just we couldn't do it and wouldn't be doing it without them. So shout out to our very own University of Wynn. That's growing, by the way. We're seeing some new members join, so we like that. We got Mike Burkhart, BMF Motorsports, Max ECU, and Steve Nichols, Montgomery Motorsports, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks. Shout out to the Shock Wizard. Got on my Penske shirt tonight. Hard Times Parts and Service. Yours truly. I'm looking at him. DME Racing, Schnitz Racing. We got Brock's Performance, Eric and MTC Engineering, BST Wheels, Mitch Brown, Monster Race Products, Ralphie and the entire Platinum General Services team, and last but not least, Worldwide Bearings and Mr. Conforti. So appreciate all that support, and we're gonna get
Few
right into a
things,
giveaway. Oh,
few
go ahead.
things real quick.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Uh, our boy Dustin won't be at the race this weekend at XDA. Gonna
Damn
miss you.
bummer.
Yeah, that's our dude. Also, if you're needing any kind of stuff from Monster Race Products, hit them up. Talked to him today a little bit. Order some stuff for inventory that I always get, and he was like, he's ready to send some stuff to people. So if you need something, hit him up, hit me up, hit your favorite dealer up, whatever.
Yep.
Get you some forks or the awesome Busa billet valve covers that I want. And if I had a bar bike, I would definitely have it because you could see it.
Oh yeah.
But just shouting them guys out real quick.
For sure. And Eric and MTC Engineering will be at the
Yes.
XDA this weekend,
Yep.
as will Dustin and myself, and hoping to get some more racer profiles done as well. So come find me if you want to do a quick little shout out racer profile. Think you all have seen, we've been steadily posting those. Brandon Litton, I think, was the last one we posted who made his pro stock debut this past weekend. So, anyways, what else you got? You want to give away some great DME stuff?
Yeah, I think it's oil pan time.
It is, it is. So let's see here. We will, what happened to my page? I know I had that sucker. Let's see. Where are we at? Here we go. Is this it? Can you see it? We got
Yeah, the
full
wheel
screen.
up. Yep.
All right, we're gonna do our typical now. It's now typical for us. We're gonna do the Do It for Dale shuffle. So we got one, two, three. And so we're gonna spin this wheel.
You want to change the time or you going to leave it the
Nope,
same?
nope, we done
Okay.
center
All
down the
right.
hill. The winner, one winner tonight, will get to choose between, I believe it's a 1 inch Hayabusa oil pan or a 1.5 inch. We'll let the winner choose. But we got two Busa oil pans in possession, ready to ship. I will ship them out. Actually, I'm not going to promise this week because I got a lot of stuff to do
If you're
to
coming to
get ready.
XDA, he may be able to give it to
Yeah,
you there.
yeah. If I know that somebody's going to be there, I will. Well, let's see who wins it. But I will 100% ship it next week. Let's see which one of our awesome, loyal, great subscribers is going to win a DME oil pen. What are those things like $450? They're not cheap. It's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
great prize.
It's going to be all over Cody Spires. Maybe some Brett Ware. I don't think it's going to go that far.
Garrett Wood,
Eric,
Trey Moore. It might hit Brett.
it's going to be Trey.
Trey
Yep.
Moore. All
Yep.
right. Congratulations
That's
to
a
Trey.
value for your subscription cost. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations.
100%. What else you got, Dustin? Anything?
Man, I've got a lot of things to do. I know
I
that.
know. All right.
Everybody knows that XDA's this weekend. I leave tomorrow. Ben probably leaves Thursday morning.
Yeah,
We are WFO
we
right now.
are.
We did
And
squeeze in a podcast. You're welcome.
bonus one, bonus. So,
Don't
um,
forget to subscribe. If you ain't subscribed, there's still probably 10 grand worth of stuff to give away. So get in on it.
there you go. That's it. That's all we got. Please enjoy this interview. I love him, hate him, like him. Enjoy
Eat your
it, listen to
broccoli.
it, eat your broccoli, but listen to what Steve has to say and all the
There's some
things
good
he's
stuff in
done.
there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yep.
all right, that's all I got, man. Let's set him loose on this exciting, amped up interview. What do you think?
Enjoy.
All right, see y'all. Your favorite hillbilly and redneck are back, and we are with the man, the myth, the legend, the infamous Steve Johnson, who is preparing for his 500th race this coming weekend. Steve, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight on the podcast. We've been trying to make this happen for what, really since Charlotte, I think. And here we are 3 months later, and couldn't have happened at a better time. We were able to rearrange all of our schedules to get you on here to talk 500.
Well, guys, it's a blast to be here. I'm telling you, we're right in the middle of the Western Swing, going to where are we going? We're going to Sonoma. We're going to Sonoma. I can't
Yep.
believe it. It's a California race. I'm here in this beautiful Sky Club in LA, and they spent like $4 million. They literally, I usually just say $4 million for a set of carburetors, from Paul Gas or Electron. But I'm like, they really did. They probably really did spend $4 million on this place, but it's beautiful, and you eat and eat and eat, and look, I've got my dinner. This is Pro Stock Motorcycle Racing dinner. Folks, I've got two. There's two sticks of celery in here, not just one. And
Extra energy for this weekend.
Look at those cucumbers. Are you kidding me?
They're good looking cucumbers, though.
Angie, I know if you had one of these, you'd put some peanut butter on it. I know peanut butter is your kryptonite. So yeah. Angie McBride, Angie Smith, she Krypton. I sent her. We just dive right into this, right into this stuff. It's like I sent her when I found out she Krypton. She works out every morning at 5 o'clock or whatever it is, and she's just a stud for, or she's whatever a stud is, but in a girl. But I sent her one of these jumbo jars that you get at Costco
Are you serious?
Peanut butter.
I mean, I'm old hillbilly and a fat man, so I like me some peanut butter. So I ain't hating on it.
Well, you had sent us some photos beforehand and whatnot, and although Dustin and I were well aware of 500 races, when I saw the sticker, and I know we three just talked about it, but it was before we hit record. But 87 to 2024, 1987, and that's just you racing pro stock motorcycle. That's me and Dustin's entire life.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
we are honored to
we're
have
not making
you
you feel any younger. I know, but
no,
man,
hey, it is what it is. I'm fortunate. Our first race, NHRA was like, wow, and we were street racers. We raced on the street, and there were drug heads and lots of drug money, and they race for bags of money, and it's like all of us regular people were like, wow, it's like but it was exciting, it was crazy. I'd sneak out of the house at my mom's, and it's midnight is when that stuff starts, and it's on Van Nuys Boulevard. It's very, very famous. It's right behind there in the bank, and all these cars are pulling up, and people would put they weld nuts on their collectors, and then they take the bolt out of the nut, and it'd go pop 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 pop. It'd make noise, and it had a roller cam in it, and we didn't even know what a roller cam was, and it's like it was just so exciting. Bottle Bob had nitrous oxide in '84. It's like,
Hint the
wow,
Bottle
are you
Bob
kidding?
name.
And it's like it just, I didn't do drugs, and girls were cool, but it was all about racing,
Yeah.
and so motorcycles were a cheap way to do it. And but when I was young, and I mean, I was at 15 going there at first, and it's like they roll a car off a trailer and do burnouts on the city streets, and it's like,
Holy cow.
wow, and pouring VHT down, and the car's got stickers on it, says Indian Summer, and it's like, whoa, whoa, and I'm like, wow, and he's racing a street car, and they're marking cars, so that whole thing, and so I got a street bike, and it was a Kawasaki, and it was a Honda first, and then I got a Kawasaki, and that was a Lightyear, and then I thought the Kawasaki was fast, and then somebody came with a Stalker GS 1100 and kicked my butt, like four valves. You don't mess with four valves, right?
Yeah, they breathe.
Yeah,
They
but
breathe.
then I got a turbo, and we really didn't know what a turbo was, but when it hit boost, it had 25 pounds of boost on Super Blue, and it was fast, but all of that went to street racing being illegal, and people dying, accidents. So I discovered the drag strip, and the drag strip was cool. You got the bracket race, and I did very little of that, but there were so many girls there, and funnel cakes. They had funnel cakes. It's like,
I like those too.
so that whole deal evolved into buying an engine that had 200 horsepower as a pro stocker, and I bought an engine before anything else, and then or my buddy bought a bike, and we teamed up, blah blah blah. And but the first race, all of my friends, they chipped in, they worked on the bike. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we had
You
a
were
ride.
going.
We had a ride from Los Angeles to New Jersey, and
Wow.
it was so cool because we were all flying. We had our tickets, and that's kind of when I started flying. Everybody kind of knows
Yeah.
I have 4.2 or 3 or 7 million miles on Delta, so it's been a long journey, but we all fly there, and we're all set to do this, and then Tuesday of the race, the guy says, "Hey, I ain't going."
Holy cow.
Like, oh, I'm like, that sucks, man. So, long story short, my buddy Harry Gunnison, his buddy is Craig Burns, and Craig Burns was a turbo funny bike guy rider, and really, really good guy. And Byron knows him, and Terry knows him, and George Bryce, and all these people knew him, and Kaiser, and Bill Hahn, all these names, and so
Mhm.
that was the era. And so he says, just build a box. So we built a box, and we airshipped it to ourselves, and they brought it to the race. They dumped it off in this dirt area because that's where they pitted the bikes. And everybody came, like Russ Olmsted and Pizza John and Steve Miles and Terry Vance and George Bryce and Dave Schultz and Russ Nyberg and all these cool names that y'all might not know about.
Oh
But
yeah, I know them.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ken Tipton. I mean, you guys had an awesome podcast with Eric about Ken Tipton and stuff, and I actually knew the man, or I interacted with the man. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, but anyway, we shipped the bike there, and
So that was
people.
your first pro stock race,
That was
though?
the first NHRA Pro Stock. NHRA. I raced Drag Bike USA, and I
Yeah.
raced a couple other wine country. There were some other organizations, but that was our first NHRA
And
experience. And
y'all
we
went
were
from
walking
LA
around.
to Jersey. Holy
Yep.
cow.
We were walking around just strutting our stuff, and we had extension cords coming out of our crate, and old tools laying everywhere, and we didn't have no air hose. We had to borrow air hoses, and we came back Saturday morning, and people had drew with a Sharpie like round circles on the back of our trailer like it was tires. You know? Oh, but anyway, that was that. My story is everybody's story is unique. Matt's is unique. Gage's is unique. John
Mhm.
Myers was unique. Dave's was unique. George Bryce's was unique. Everybody's got a unique story, and that's what makes our class so good. Everybody thinks I hate Matt Smith so much. It's like we need him. He's so important. And now he's talking about, taking his 5 bikes and going somewhere else. And I'm telling you, there's nobody that I think that is more committed to pro stock racing than Angie. So if Matt takes the bikes and split, I'm phoning up Angie. Angie girl, I got a bike for you. And-
You guys can eat cucumbers together,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. If you need a place to stay, no hanky panky, you can at least sleep on the couch, man. I just want to see you race. We
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gotta race, right? It's
yeah.
so
Well,
important. It's so important.
you was mentioning stories, and I think yours is the longest one. Like it has to be. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
the
Well, for sure.
longest career.
Yeah, but no, but we have 500. If you go to in the old days, there were only five or six races a year. When we first started, and when to give you a perspective, Terry Vance won a race, and there was no trophy. They gave him the trophy. No, they took the trophy from Garlits and they gave it to Terry to take a picture, and then they
Picture.
took it back.
Oh man,
So,
that leads back to the biker trash, right? Like we always
oh
kind of
yeah.
the stepchild type thing.
Yeah, exactly. But the finish of our first races, we won the first round. We qualified. It was so much fun. We were on the moon, and we were just going from. We ate at Applebee's, and we were, it's like Bob Glidden's over there. It's like wow, and Ed McCullough's over there, and it's like wow, and it's like we were just on the moon. Connie Coletta and all these stuff. So it was so much fun. So anyway, we finished the race, and we literally, I'm telling you, I'm looking you right in the eye, we never thought about how to get the bike back. So my buddy Torch, he went around and started asking people, and Blaine and Alan Johnson, and Dad Everett, they put the bike in their alcohol trailer on the steps going into the lounge. They put boxes, we put padding, we put pillows, and we
Holy
just
cow.
stuffed everything on, and that bike rode at an angle. I put my motorcycle, my Kawasaki Pro Stalker, it went to the 16th floor for the Slick 50 announcement, and we put the motorcycle in the stairs. I've got a picture. I should have sent it to you. I got a pic. It's no, not in the stairs, in the elevator. And when the
Holy
elevator
cow.
when the elevator doors opened up, it's like there's a Pro Stock motorcycle like that. So
Propped up in there.
yeah, we would do anything. We have crates. I was going to send you a picture. We have 4 crates, and we have show bikes, the display bikes, and we did Walmarts every Wednesday, and we did Walmarts when John Force did Walmart. So, this was John Force doing Walmarts. He doesn't do that, and we know he's going to be back. He's a strong son of a gun, and he'll definitely
Absolutely.
be
I hope
back.
so. Yes.
But those were the kind of things that we would do to promote the sport and to give value to our sponsor. And if there's anything I could do to leave a few things with people about the business of racing, it's like, gosh darn it, it's you. And now with social media, it's in some
Oh, yeah.
cases it's a little bit easier to create the value that you can provide a sponsor. And I've always said, even if you go to the local racetrack and you tell that guy, I can tell you that I can sell 20 or 50 or 75 more hamburgers in one night than you normally sell, and I can prove it to you. That guy's going to listen to you. And that's just some clunky hamburger store.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
owner will listen. And if you're dressed professional and you have the data and you can show that guy, I'm going to interact with this group of people, and I'm going to do it this amount of days before the event, and I'm going to drive it this way and social media and blah, 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 blah. And when you show him that and you negotiate something that isn't for free, you cannot do anything for free. You get a percentage. You tell him, hey, give me a percentage of those extra 75 hamburgers. And then it creates a relationship, and then you can start moving on from that relationship. But I really do think sponsors, and I'm not one to talk because I don't have all these sponsors like I used to, but trying to do our own engines is very, very taxing, and I do
Right.
have
Right.
some supporters that really do like us, and so I'm barely even surviving, but if you got to rely on money to be happy, you're tough. And that's not me right now. I just want to make sure I have my celery and and my water. Heck, if it's fattening, so. But anyway, that's there
I
are
mean, I think that's super cool. I remember as a kid, and this will lead into some more stuff you can talk about, going to Food City and seeing Dale Earnhardt car sitting there. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen that when I was a kid. And for you, you sent us pictures with Dale Earnhardt, which, in my opinion, is one of the most well-known racers ever. I think John Force is probably right there with him for sure. I mean, in my opinion, John Force is NHRA. That's why I said, I hope he gets back, because if you think about NHRA, you think about John Force and i.e. Steve Johnson. You've been in
Yeah,
Pro Stock Motorcycle forever.
I was lucky. We were in Loud, New Hampshire for a cup race, and Slick 50 was just getting going, and there was there was a lot of excitement, and it's almost like people didn't really know about Slick 50 for their engine and why it was. And it's like some lady, they told her the whole deal, and she says, "So starting my engine's a terrible thing to do." And it's like that became the tagline. It's like your oil's in the pan. Gravity tells you oil's in the pan. So when you start your car, it's metal to metal. So Slick 50 produces that has PTFE in it, and it treats the metal, not the oil, blah, 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 blah. And so I was the spokesperson at the NASCAR race. And that's one of the things that led me into, knowing Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt and then Snap On and that all evolved. But we went to Loud, New Hampshire, and it was so fun because the Slick 50 name was there, and Dale Earnhardt was there, and I forgot kind of where I was going with that whole story, but I started having some fun with him, and we went to the Bahamas together, him and Richard Childress and Dale Earnhardt, or Doug Herbert and I. And Snap-on was just so kind to Carl Johansson put us together. So, and then we went and ate dinner at Richard's house, and oh, this is great. So if there's any girls that listen to this, but so
we actually have some female listeners, loyal listeners.
My gal is there at the time. This is a while ago, and so she says, "Well, what are we having for dinner?" And he says, "We're gonna have steaks. We're gonna cook steaks." She says, "Well,
I knew Dale would eat steaks."
He says, how do you cook steaks?" And they said, "Well, what do you mean?" She says, "Well, I'm just kind of curious." And he says, "Sounds like you want to cook the steak." So my gal's cooking the steaks. So she says, "Where's the plates?" And he says, "Right there." She goes, "Right here." And she puts her hand up, and she's got this ring on her finger that's got a diamond on it. It's not a diamond. It's a whatever it's called. It's not even a cubic. It's not even cubic zirconia or whatever that's called. It's just a plastic, but it looks like. So Richard says, "Dale, look at the size of this ring. Drag racing motorcycles must be good." Anyway, the long story short is we bought one of those rings and we sent it to Richard to give for Judy, for his wife, for Christmas. So on my gal, it's a $20 ring at the department store. On Richard Childress's wife, it's a $20 million ring or something like that. But in his house, he's got the big 11, and it's got oh yeah, it's Jock, text me back. I'm talking.
Get Jock on here.
Text me back, Jock, please. So he's got the big 11, and they're hunters. So I mean, there's a full rhinoceros there. There's a full lion there. There's a full alligator there on the ground. There's a Giselle getting chased by a bear. There's a bear. I mean, it's the big 11 in one room in his house. It's incredible. Wow. So the only thing that wasn't full size was obviously the elephant, and he had the elephant paws or whatever, or his legs and stuff. And he says, believe it or not, the natives like you to shoot the elephants because they stampede the place and then they ruin the cities. They ruin their little towns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, going to the Bahamas with those guys, and I sat right there and he taught me about how to sell die cast. And to this day,
talk about that. Tell us about that.
So the diecast in the early days, you got 5%. So, whatever they sold them for, say if they sold them for $100, I think it was less, but you got $5 for everyone that sold as a driver, and the owner got $5 and the sponsor got $5. Well, if you were the owner driver and could negotiate a little bit, you could get $15 off of each one. So
Yeah.
Angel sold a ton of them. The Mac tool, when you had a distribution, that was the key, is distribution.
Right.
If you relied on just Action to run through their 17 distributors to move the product, and it was hot, so it did move, especially if you had a little bit of a name. Matt Hines did really, really well. But the point is there was that money on the table, and a lot of drivers did good. We didn't get rich by any means, but Dale, I did that the first time, but Dale told me, buy them all. Don't let them go through distribution. It will jack the price. It'll jack the value. It'll jack the authenticity of them way up. And I'm like, wow. So they called and they said, hey, your bikes are on the boat. You've talked about buying them. Are you going to buy them? And I put 80. This is a long time ago. I put $80,000 on my American Express Gold Card.
Holy gosh.
But it didn't go for 30 days.
Wow.
Because it's a credit card, and this is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
old days. So they landed on the boat. Dale told me to sign every one of them by hand. So we took them all out, opened the case, took the box out, took the top off the box, took the styrofoam out, took the handout card out, grabbed the body, unwrapped it, set it there, and then I would come by and I would sign them all. So we did all that, and we just
Holy cow.
we sold them through distribution. At I got a little convoluted in my story, but we sold them through Snap-on franchisees, and they used them as a tool to help sell tools. It's kind of a
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
but
Yeah, you
I
get this
shouldn't have- I
motorcycle
should-
if you buy this toolbox.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they did an 80th anniversary Steve Johnson bike and toolbox. So there's a toolbox, and Angel had them, but I had a Steve, I'm just a guy out there. Angel was a champion and stuff, but I had this box, and it was a Steve Johnson box, and they made 1,500 of these boxes. And the only way to get the die cast was to buy the box. And the only way to get the box was the die cast. So those
Holy
bikes
cow.
were selling like $500, that I scooped up a few and didn't give them so I used them for promotions and for gas money, mad money, and um those funnel cakes I spent too much money on.
Yeah. A whole lot of funnel
yeah.
cakes.
Yeah, so then we did another version of the Snap-on bike, an 85th anniversary, and we did a color chrome Snap-on bike, and then we did a Snap-on Wyotech bike, and we did the first time we were, I think it was 698. We did a 698 bike. So the deal is, you could make some money getting the commission, and there was no responsibility. But if you were chancy, and I was too dumb to know anything else. But
That was great advice from him, though.
It
I mean,
was
he really threw you a
incredible.
solid. Yeah, that
It
was
was
awesome.
incredible, and I relate back to Matt, and I relate back to our class, and I relate back to Chase Van Zandt, who, congratulations, just won, and it's like, because they're whether they like it or not, they're in my world, and so, Matt's gotten to learn an incredible amount from his dad, and the Hines sons have learned an incredible amount from their dad, and their mentors are so important, and we are driving with ASE mentorship in the automotive dealerships to take young people when they go through our scholarship program, and they win. They get about $4,000, $5,000 in tools from Snap-on, and they get $1,000 in tools that they get to choose from Peak, Old World Industries. And so when those and they get my cell number. So if they got questions about, tools or girls or funnel cakes or racing or whatever it is, they got my number. So I try to be a mentor. I'm not trying to force it down there, but I want them to understand how important the smallest company in the world has an advisory team. And that's where Pro2 came on. Pro2 was an organization that we said, hey, if everybody's spending $500,000 and there's 20 of us, it's a $10 million company. Any $10 million a year company's got to have somebody leading the ship.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to the
I mean-
sanction body, we needed a voice to go to the sanction body and talk about, hey, you know, we need some TV time. We need to pass that on to our sponsors. We can't race for $600 all year long and get that for a purse at the end of the year if you're number 10.
Right.
That's not cool. We want to pit. We want to pit, and we want to pull in and get our bikes teched like the pros, like the rest of the pros do. And we want free entry fee. So they voted me in, and you know, it was my idea to have the thing. And realistically, I was the only one at the time, but it was way more important than my racing. And when we achieved all those things, I said, if I'm going to go pitch those things, I need 5 things that I can tell them that we're going to do as racers. You know,
Right.
we're going to sell shirts. We're going to sell 500 shirts. That's on my website, but we're going to all wear the same t-shirt, or we're all going to have uniforms. We're going to pit outside where the fans can see us. You know, these are the kind of things that, you know, I think was really important for the infrastructure of our class to really get embedded with the Winston series, with the Camping World, the Mission, you know, the Powerade, the Coca-Cola, you know, all the professional series sponsors that the NHRA has had. You know, we're really, really fortunate to be part of that. And
Right.
you know, sometimes the bickering is a little bit weird, but I think, you know, it's still part of racing, and I don't think anybody's getting really hurt. It does create some controversy. It gets a little lopsided when that jackwagon knucklehead
Well, I was
media,
going to say
quote
that.
unquote media guy starts putting, I'm an analyst. He's an analyst like I'm a brain surgeon. You know, he knows nothing about nothing.
I feel like the negativity isn't good for the class.
No,
I feel like that if you constantly bash and put up, you know, these, you know, perspectives that I don't agree with, or, you know, is not true, it drives people away from wanting to chase their dream. Like, racing pro stock motorcycle isn't about winning. It's about chasing your dream, the dream of being on television, to the dream of pulling in and getting teched in and, you know, feeling important. It's a passion that you just got to have. If you ain't got it, that's not the place for you. It's not about winning. I mean, of course, a competitor wants to win. Your
Right.
sponsors
Yeah.
want you to win. But at the end of the day, the first initial thought is of going racing pro stock motorcycle is because you want to do it. It's a dream. And if you got some knucklehead just dragging it through the mud saying that it's all rigged, it's not going to
Right.
drive people to do it. It's just going to run them off.
we're going to stop posting. My initiative is to get people until he switches. He's going to switch. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a
He has to.
knucklehead.
He's going
He's a knucklehead. Okay.
Yeah.
He's being greedy, and he's using us to fuel his financial situation. And I get that. I think a perspective is everybody can understand that, maybe not get it, but they can
I
understand.
just don't like the influence
Right.
of it. That some
Yeah,
people, it changes
that's right.
them. I hate
That's
that.
right. That's right. Matt is allowed to have it. That's what I get mad at. I'm like, people get mad at Matt, and you know, I'm like, he's allowed to say what he wants. I'm like, this is America. We live in the greatest planet, greatest place ever, and so
Yeah.
Matt's allowed to say whatever he wants, but it's his opinion. Just like when I say it, it's like, of course, mine is all factual, but you know, it's like you're allowed to give your opinion.
Right.
Let Angie have her opinion, and you know, I want to stir the pot a little bit, and not dog somebody's mom out or something like that. But it's like
Yeah.
we are in the entertainment business a little bit,
Right.
but the dreams are different for everybody. And Matt's really on this. He's on 6 championships, and you know, I think he's cheated for 5 of them. Just joking, just joking. Gosh darn it. But you know, it's like everybody's got a different reason. George Bryce told me some people go to the races to get a great parking spot and sign autographs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I never
That's-
thought of it.
That's their dream. Like, their dream
Yeah.
is just to be there and somebody asks for their autograph, right? So that's why I don't like the negativity, because it runs those people away. And
Yes.
right now, Pro Stock Motorcycle needs those people. Like, that's what
Uh,
they need.
As much as passionate as I am about my own initiatives, my school programs, my sponsorships, you know, Big St. Charles is a fantastic motorcycle dealership. out there in St. Louis, you got to go by there and check them out. Give them my name and get a discount or whatever. But you know, my buddy Tony Toll and Chris, you know, Wings and Warriors. I'm doing a fantastic thing with those guys. It's a nonprofit, and Bob Button. You know, I have these guys that support other Top Fuel racers and stuff. But the most important thing that I really want is I want the guys that aren't racing our class, the pro mods, the grudge bikes. I want them to understand that if the goal is to be on TV and to maybe have a sponsor. I realize
Right.
they race for a lot of money, but to have a sponsor, you got to have a platform. I believe a legitimate corporate sponsor. You have to
Right.
have some kind of position or platform. And within the NHRA and the Mission Series, you can have that. You don't have to win the race. You could be out there for the first year and learn about it and get your sponsor to learn about it. And all of those things you can put in a package and you can sell that. And
Yep.
not just for 50 grand. Okay. You know, for a couple $100,000, I think is still a realistic number. And to be able to communicate to all of those guys out there that may be thinking about it, but are nervous and they stick in the class that they are. I love their classes, but I clearly want them all over here. I don't think they understand the entire platform. They just see the negative shit, the negative stuff that Knucklehead posts.
Yes.
And I told NHRA in the
That's-
movie, that's a number one thing why our class has so much dissension in it right now. And it's not because of Matt. It's not because of Matt. It's
No.
because of this guy.
No.
He's
Well,
promoted
it's
his
mostly because he
angle.
just keeps on the same topic.
He's promoted his angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what's driven divide. But
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
we're having
Dustin,
that.
I've said, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Dustin and I have said, basically, from really, I guess, probably Joey on, we race with Joey. Joey comes in, they work hard, they do stuff, and they have a really good year, and that's exciting. And then Gage gets the opportunity, comes in, like people for like me and Dustin that we have personally raced with and been at the racetrack weekends and weekends together, and seeing them, like me and Dustin 100% could tell this just renewed love and passion for pro stock motorcycle. And I'll be the first to say that, there was a couple of years, quite a few, that I just didn't really follow it as much. And because there was no
Oh,
new
man, that's a
people
bummer.
and stuff like that, but like, I feel like getting the newer, younger people in here and mixing it up with the veterans and stuff, like, to me, that's what it's all about. And kind of going along with what we're saying, negative connotations with everything about it. It just does not bring new people. And one thing that we tried to point out last weekend is Brandon Litton, making his debut. Yeah, I know y'all didn't
Yep.
have a full field, but there was a brand new racer who'd never raced. Like, why was that not more news, right?
I kind of rattled his cage, and he didn't know. I know he knows who he probably. I'm sure Matt and Angie have schooled him on who I am and everything like that. And I'm a knucklehead or whatever they wanted to say, but. I mean, I busted his chops and, a little bit just to try to, get him hot. And I said, geez, when Gianna went by me in the first round, went 229.99 or 448. I said that was the most mile an hour I had ever run because the vortex grabbed me and sucked me across the finish line. She not only kicked my butt, she's like, good night. Look
She
how
was
fast you went.
flying. She was flying this past weekend. That's for sure. They'd figure,
And no matter what, no matter anybody that gets on those motorcycles and rides them to whatever level they are, if they're on, part of the rules are you have to be on the bike when it crosses the finish line. So, I mean, hanging on is an important part of that thing.
yeah.
But to do it precisely and
Right.
I'm so happy that she can. Well, I actually don't like her at all, but it's like I'm so happy that she's really doing good. I do like her. I chat with her dad and stuff like that. But she's what our sport needs. She's
Yeah.
and Chase and then you're like you guys you're talking about, and there's a lot of fresh blood. And I know that if these other guys can get the right data and understand, and when we get a website that will show this is how much a crew guy costs, this is how much hotels cost, this is how much engines cost to build or rent, this is how much a truck and trailer typically costs, this is how much you can ask for a sponsor, this is how much the media value. If you make the first round at every race and you're on TV, for just that round. This is the value that the agencies put towards that. So
Right.
Yeah.
if we can combine all that and give it to these the pro mod guys and give it to all the other racers, and there's money out there. I know these guys have money. They pull it all together. That's how we did it. So, you know, we want them over here. I think Eddie and Andrew are talking about making a low 7-second bike and letting guys get on it and see how, you know, it is a lot harder than it looks. I
Oh, for
promise.
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wish I could ride really good. Gosh darn, I want to ride perfect, you know, and
Right.
clearly a lot of those guys are riding really, really good. So shift points and body weight and making good decisions and having good lights and I hope Chase gets stuck in New York doing his modeling gig and doesn't show up for snow.
But see, that's what
he
see,
is
that's
well
the
groomed. He is well
yeah,
groomed
that
and
that is
good
the
looking
fun
kid.
stuff between you guys as racers. You say stuff like that. That's what we do, right? Like we talk a little trash and have fun with it. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, Mark Ingerson, he's got the baddest truck and trailer at the races, and I'm like, man, if I had, it is gorgeous. It's got 4 bathrooms in his motorhome. Has 4
Wow.
bathrooms. One of them has a sauna in it, and the one in the back has a 2 levels, so you can go into this other level, and there's a fitting room for shoes, and there's a guy in that fitting room that tailors your suit, and he'll actually do the sewing right there in that room. So
All right,
yeah.
you're going out there. You're crazy.
John, I've been with John for so while. So, but embellishing is always fun. You know, his rig is so bad to the bone, and his guys are in there working with air conditioning. I'm telling you, if I had his rig, I wouldn't come out.
Yeah. I come by
I
your
don't-
trailer a couple of times at Bristol, and you would run back in the trailer to go do the tuning thing or try something. I was like, I'm leaving him alone. He's working. He's trying to figure it out. So
Well,
I
and that's one of those things, Steve, not to interrupt you, but like that's one of those things too, kind of going back to the differences in you know, whatever. I guess me and Dustin had to say we're media-ish now from here, but like
Yeah.
that wasn't ever our intention. But at the beginning of the year, we did set clear goals that we wanted to do our best to positively promote this sport. And you know, us being racers, just like down at Charlotte, you know, the whole first day I was down there, I every time I walked by, you was busy or not there, and you know, I didn't want to go in and encroach, but you know, finally the last day I was there, you know, I got to go in and meet you and talk and hang out for a little bit. But you know, that's kind of one of those things where we try to read the room, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
go up to a pit and look, here's the other thing, you know, we have been welcomed by everybody. There's not anybody that Dustin or I have talked to or reached out to that hasn't welcomed us in the NHRA pits. And you know, some people we already knew, obviously, but others we didn't, just like yourself, you know, and we're just humbled to even be able to interact and try and positively promote, you know, the class and racers.
the sport in general.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, here I'm looking at some of these. I can't. I'm looking at some of these pictures that I flipped. Here's I don't know. Let's see. Go that way. That's one of my first. That was my street race bike. It went 860, 160, and that was
Holy
in
cow.
that was in 84.
Wow. I wasn't even alive.
60? Well, holy shit.
Yeah, so it's
That's
like,
cooking. That's
yeah,
cooking.
it's you know, here's one of my first rigs.
Oh yeah.
And I had a custom carpet, and I had plastic flowers, I had a card table, and it was my hospitality area, but it was a beer truck, and the sides folded up. Oh my God.
That's
It was just
awesome.
so old school, you know, and it was, but it was fun. Like we talked about, you know, why we're doing it. And I was doing it because I was getting paid. It was cool. This is the category's only ever ZX7. You know, it was,
Yeah.
you know, and
I like that.
you know, it was, you know, such a fun motorcycle to debut stuff like that. But I was never the Rocket Man, you know. It was always Dave and George, or Dave and John, and
Do
you
you
know,
think the sports needs like this pro stock motorcycle needs some different makes and models possibly?
oh
You ever
man,
thought about that?
Here's my humble opinion. You get one engine. Um, I'm kind of for this. I'm backpedaling a little bit. I'll tell you what I told NHRA. I said they need to find out. You can't manage what you don't measure. You need to ask a bunch of racers what it would take to get them over here, and then make sure that the rules fit the environment, not
Mhm.
not not what is going on. But I truly believe that what if we had one in it still run the V twins in any shape or form, whatever they want to do, all good. We'll probably still have some parity issues, but make a badged engine.
Mhm.
So you can have a Suzuki set of cases or the Vance and Hines cases if you want, and you can put a cylinder head on it, aftermarket cylinder head, aftermarket cases, aftermarket pistons, all that stuff, and you can badge it with Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, um, uh, Suzuki, and then you can go and run that body work, run a Hayabusa, or run a ZX, um,
14.
yeah, or and then the Yamaha R1s and the Honda Blackbirds or whatever, and have the body work and the name is more pro because I envision tractor trailers that say Honda, tractor trailers that
Yes.
say Kawasaki, tractor. That's what's going to change our sport. That money's going to go into the class. It's going to go
Hmm.
into the sanction body. The sanction body, they're like anybody else when Matt gets mad at him and stuff like that. And it's just part of it. We all get mad at them, but at the end of the day, they're the best. It's the biggest racing organization in the United States, is what I've been told by the amount of membership that they have. So if we
Yeah, I
can
think
keep
it's the
them happy,
world. Yeah. Yeah.
if we can keep them happy about our class, and Pro Stock went through a big lull where they didn't have a lot of people and a lot of participation, and it pulled out of it. So we need a vision, and I humbly would like to explore that, because you could take a set of cases and make a set of case, give somebody else an opportunity to make a set of cases. That wasn't like the knucklehead talked about. That was out of need. There were no more Suzuki cases, and
Oh
so
yeah, you guys were running old stuff that was breaking.
yeah, well, it's from junkyards, and we couldn't even
Yeah.
get brand new
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
I still had some, but uh, the I think the point is we have to have the infrastructure, and the infrastructure
Hmm.
could be a billet set of cases. I mean, the V twins have had them forever. Why can't we have them? So the
Yeah.
Suzukis, so are all the inline fours. So all the inline fours get a standard set of cases. They can put a standard block on it, a standard four valve cylinder head on it, and they can have a valve cover made that says Suzuki, Honda, whatever. And at the end of the day, it's still going to have a Blackbird on it. It's still going to be in advertising with Honda.
Right. Right.
It's not going to get shot up. I mean, NASCAR's done it for forever. Lots of people have done it forever, and that is what I believe will not only grow. I believe it will be really, really big, because
I mean, I even think about the Hayabusa engine, but the problem is if you get different combos, then you got a parity nightmare. You know what I mean? Because the Hayabusa might need this, and the ZX14 engine might need this, and it's just going to be
but
so much.
there's always going to be somebody crying that
Yeah,
their valve angle's not right,
exactly.
or the rules for the body that dictate the engine dictates the body. And so no, oh well, I need more compression because our fuel injection isn't the same. Or I kind of got off there. There's
Yeah,
always going to be an issue with all the different engine combinations from all the manufacturers. If it's the same like in Pro Stock,
exactly.
you
Exactly.
can't complain. And let's
Yeah.
get past the complaining. Let's create another narrative that drives interest in our sport. He he's got
Yeah. Like,
he's got two belly buttons or something like that. Let's get away from the
well,
stupid stuff, and let's just have one engine for the inline fours. Call it anything that you want, put the body work on it, and have at it, boys and girls.
I think that would be good for the class, see some different bodies. They're not all the same. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
think it would be appealing.
And if you show the factories, it's like, hey man, you do all this stuff with dirt bikes. It's like, what sport is going to better produce your street bike line than NHRA?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Suzuki's seeing that right now. They're
Mm.
benefiting from that.
25th anniversary right there.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
so, but I talk like I know it all. It's totally, I don't, it's an opinion, but I'm very,
You've
very
seen it
passionate.
all.
I'm very
You've been there,
passionate.
done that for sure.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it. So,
Yeah.
there's and manufacturers, it was said, oh, we need more manufacturers. Well, look, I need $1 million, or I need a fast motorcycle, or I want a bigger house, or, I want
A
more
funnel
broccoli.
cake.
Yeah, I need more broccoli or something like that. It's like we don't, that's why that guy is such a knucklehead, but it's like, come up with solutions.
Right.
Not throw rocks at us. We have the
Yeah.
greatest drag racing platform in America, and I want it to grow and kick butt, and it can. So,
It can. We just
That makes a lot of sense to though what you were saying, being able to, because I mean, just like you said with NASCAR and stuff like that, it's just different body work and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. The casual fan's not going to go in and be like, well, that's not a true Honda, because they
Yes,
can't even
exactly.
see the motor. They won't even know. So,
Yeah.
another thing that I think would be good as well is like, from the teams that are able to, have rentals and stuff like that, is promote the living hell out of that. Like set up classes, hey, you come spend the day and they get 10, 15 people. I mean, we can just do simple math, I mean, I bet you could get plenty of people to pay $1,000, $2,000 to kind of learn the ropes, kind of like a school back in the day. I know
George Bryce's
and
thing.
yeah.
Yes. That's
But
what
get
we need.
people
Yeah.
involved like that. And then, promoting, I mean, look, I would say I probably know a little bit more than the average fan, I guess. But like for me, Steve, if I want to go racing right now, from what I've heard, I know who I'm calling and I know the price right now. And and I'll be honest, I feel like I'd save a shit ton of money by renting a bike that way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So,
it's
I
like,
feel like there's opportunities out there that maybe just need to be even promoted more.
it's like, how the hell does he tune all those bikes? Are you kidding me? And then he goes up there and watches every one of them. I'm like, what bandwidth has this guy got?
I respect that, but it also is hard, and that's why they're kind of maybe all over the place sometimes, because it is hard to tune that many motorcycles.
Gianna went 203. It wasn't. He did it.
He done a really good job this past weekend for sure. But
it drives me crazy mad because it's so. Hey, folks, if don't listen to anything in this whole thing and just listen to this. It's so easy at the shop.
Yeah.
when you got this piece of paper and you're writing notes, I've won 82% of the races I enter. It's right here on paper. But yeah, Matt tunes those bikes, and I'm like, good night. How does he even ride his bike? And he does a good job riding his bike. And boy, when it didn't start, the karma train just went choo 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 choo, because he dogged everybody. I'm leaving my bikes and blah blah blah. But then, then his bike didn't start, and I wasn't at the starting line, but I guess that's what people were saying. The karma train ran his butt over. But he does such a good job with all those bikes, and he's so important for our class. He really. Did you see that picture of Jack on the back of Matt's bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
We've seen that.
We've
seen that.
I want that guy's skills. That guy's skills are really, really good.
Whoever edited it was good. Yeah, they did a good job.
Talking about that, your new shirt, and which everybody should go get one. We'll do a little share screen real quick, show everybody the most important part of it. Can y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
So talk about that. And I heard, did you get a little backlash on that?
Yeah, well, the 12 Wallies. Okay, real quick, the 12 Wallies at 1.5 million each. I've spent about 20 million. And so I got 12. So it's just math, And I'm like, each trophy, I'm only in 1.5 million. That's a deal, man. So we already talked about mile. I got a lot of miles. I got a lot of miles. So they treat me really nice. And the 150,000 tiers, I think now there's going to be a version 2 of the shirt. I think it's 150,003. So, but the new shirt, actually the only shirt that's out there. This one says Matt. The one that I printed and am selling. It just says M, and then there's 3 asterisks. So I don't know what
Oh,
Matt
okay.
that means, but it's different than the shirt that's actually printed. The $75,000 in damages. Oh my God, this is so underground. So the La Quinta Airport. No, the La Quinta in Indianapolis. I did back in the old days. We used to get GMC trucks, and I would put I put my bike in the back, and then I'd go do school appearances and for the NHRA and for me, and then I'd come back and I'd back it up to my trailer, and then I'd back the bike into not my trailer, into my beer wagon, and then I'd go to the track, and I'd just leave the GMC truck there, and I'd show up on a Tuesday, and because I wasn't I was putting my engines together, I wasn't really building them. So you know how when you check into La Quinta or any hotel, well, it's got that area where you pull in and you check in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had been driving my GMC truck with the bike, and I'm zooming all around, all through Indianapolis and everything. Well, I get over there and I unload it, and I get in my big truck that's got this big, huge 30-foot box on it. And I forgot all about how high it was. And
Oh,
I drove right into the underhang, and it went right underneath, and it
oh
no.
my goodness.
so,
Oh,
but that was only 6,000. Then I had a guy take the tractor trailer. He had to get home, so he told the truck driver to take the tractor trailer and drop him off at Midway Airport with the tractor trailer.
Holy
So,
cow.
so when you drive your Mustang or Camaro, and you drop somebody off at departures.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, he took a tractor trailer through there,
Oh my
that ain't
goodness.
gonna
and
fit
they
well.
and they did $58,000 worth of damage to all the signs.
Holy cow.
So
I
now
knew
when
there
you go
was
to
a story there. Yeah.
when you go to Midway, there's actual printed signs that say no semi truck and trailer.
Marking your
So
place in
anyway,
history everywhere you go.
yeah, 5,000 pounds in broccoli. I don't know what that is, but it's like people, on one serious side, it's like everybody eats a whole bunch of meat and they eat very little green, and your body produces roughly 7.5 pH balance. Everybody's body does it basically the same. If you're on an Atkins diet, it really struggles to do it. But if you eat broccoli, your body doesn't try to manifest that 7.5. And to do that, I'm told it leaches the calcium out of your bones, so your bone density decreases faster than normal when you don't eat the right pH balanced meal. And the pH also helps your arterial blood gases, all the stuff that I learned when Jock was in the hospital. So my point is just consider eating something green, some pH,
Yeah.
and it will really. You're not going to see it tomorrow, but you'll
Eat
see
your
it in the long
vegetables, kids.
There you
and
go.
green. And I only pick broccoli because it's got the most amount of protein. So the
I
four
love
carb,
broccoli.
I think we're the only one in about all of NHRA that's even got carburetors anymore. We had to refinance the house, yeah, to try to keep going. I had some low years without diecast, and it's a constant thing. Winning the U.S. Nationals. If you don't know, we won we lost the U.S. Nationals on Monday, but they gave us the trophy after reviewing the tape and watching what motorcycle really went across the finish line first.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I
that was
forgot
about the
about
most
that.
controversial win in NHRA history. And Matt was somewhat gracious. He gave, we did it on TV back then, so he gave me the trophy, and they told the story, and then at the end he gave me the trophy, and I was I was really excited. I didn't get winner's circle, but it was cool. We had a winner's circle at Reading, but one self-inflicted gunshot wound that Jock allegedly shot himself when he was sleeping in a parking lot.
Cheddar
With
Bob.
yeah, Cheddar, yeah. And
That's what I call him.
a whole lot of BS and double trouble. That's the name of our engines. So always looking for a truck driver. Randy and from Ryan Ayler's team and Scott drove for us at the last couple of races. It's 36 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
36 hours from Alabama to Seattle. Are you kidding me?
And I seen him pitting for you. I think he was helping you at the track too this past
Yeah,
weekend.
they're just straight up. Ryan's got a great
Good people. Yeah.
There's
I hope he gets back soon.
there's just a lot of great people at the races. There really, really is. I mean, even the the rat guy, and there's just so much diversity and so much fun, and
I
it
love the costume. I love the dancing
oh
rat.
gosh,
Like when I was
she's
at Bristol, I enjoyed that.
she's really creating something
Yeah,
for herself. Yeah, so
yeah.
that stuff was real fun. But I want to also tell you guys, it's important to have energy. It's hard to learn if you don't have energy, so you got to have energy, and I clearly have energy. And with that energy, you can manifest an initiative, and the initiative, I believe, is just giving something back. You know, it can't always be about money. So I'm really engaged at young people, and you don't have to go to college to be successful. So,
Yep,
that's my
I agree with that.
platform. And believe it or not, you can engage people into some kind of support through that. We have a Batman scholarship. It's Batman or woman. It's be a technician. So the skilled trades is such an important area right now in our society. And
100%.
I'm trying to promote that as much as I can. They go online. We don't want any posers. We don't want the same answers everybody else gets, and we award these people, these students, as long as they're in school, with these awards. And so ASE helps me. My buddy George Arentz helps me with that, and Emma at the shop, she helps me with you see her name with all the social media stuff. But it's it's so rewarding. The parents come when we announce the winner, and the parents will be crying. The mom will be crying, and it's just a real neat thing to shed the light on an opportunity, and it's a career. And it's a career that, believe it or not, Bob Tasca talks about all the time. There are absolutely six-figure incomes from technicians now, and
Oh, 100%. I mean,
yeah, so
it won't be too long where, the guy building the new house or the plumber or the mechanic, I mean, they're making as much or more than doctors. I mean, because there's not enough people getting into those trades,
yeah,
So
yeah.
all the stuff that you're talking about the scholarships and promoting those trades is 100% needed.
Good for the world.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah, it
sure.
really is. So that's kind of the Steve Johnson story. We're we're gonna have this. I guess in past tense, when a lot of people are listening to this, they're gonna know about the Getrix. That's with Hector Arana's sponsor. He's they've got this call out race, and we're gonna have that. So it's probably already happened by the time some of your people have heard this. But man, there's gonna be some smack talking on the stage, man.
What's the call out race now? Tell us about it.
It's the Getrix call out race, and they take the top 8 qualifiers from points throughout a whole year, from period to period, and the number one qualifier with the most points, who's qualified the best over all this period of time, he gets to pick any one of the other 7 drivers to race in the first round. And then number 2 picks the next person. Number 3,
That's awesome.
it's kind of like that deal that they do with the street outlaws and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's going to be fun.
It's a call out, and the car guys do it too. So Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Pro Stock Car all do that. So it's a real neat program. Hector sponsor pays for it. It's very, very cool. And if you have a chance to support Mission, buying some taco, whatever they're called,
Low
taco,
carb tortillas.
yeah, all that stuff. And you might not recognize Angel without the glitter, but it's Angel. There's a girl out at the races. She races an alcohol car, and if she
I'm
doesn't
a
have
fan
glitter,
I'm a fan.
if she doesn't have glitter on, and she always says it's Swarovski crystals. So she's their brand ambassador, and she has a lot of fun. She every once in a while she'll come back to the hood, man.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up? Come play with us. Yeah. Yeah. If somebody takes a
my
picture and
goodness.
posts it, you can be in trouble, girl.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
but
goodness.
yeah, so we have some really cool sponsors in the sport, but that Getrix thing is really neat, and I think it pays $25,000. So
wow.
Matt's already put a deposit slip on it. So anything I can do to kibosh that is going to be awesome.
Well, speaking of
goodness.
that, you run pretty good this past weekend. You had pretty good weekend compared to the ones before, right?
Yeah, we definitely ran better. It's such a polar opposite. When we debuted that Hayabusa body, we won the first race out.
Right.
Gage went red in the final, and we're like, oh gosh, and everybody's like, oh gosh, but by the time you buy that body and you put it on and you pay somebody to put it on and you pay to have it wrapped and then you go test, it's
It's expensive.
yeah, it's a tough deal. And I don't want to shoot down any opportunity. You know, Vance and Hines provides, that's a beautiful setup and they do a great job. And clearly their bike's not slow by any means. So I just know that our bike, I got the weight balance all screwed up. I got going down the wrong road with some engine combinations. So I've got everything almost changed back, and hopefully I can get back to maybe a 241 back half. I don't think I can, that's my goal, but now that we have the yellow fuel and not the red fuel, I'll be happy with a 243 back half is what I'm gonna
I really
try to
think
find
that
out.
fuel really did hurt the
Well,
Ford
for
red
me,
lines.
for me, it did, you know, with
Yeah.
carburetors and regular ignition and stuff, you know, and that's my opinion. And you know, I clearly don't know everything. I only know, I don't even know what I think I know. But there is a lot of, there's a
Well,
lot
yeah,
of,
I mean, you can't just, magically wick up the ignition timing or, change how much fuel's going in the cylinder because you're on carburetors. So, during the pass, you might need it down low and not up top, and the fuel really you lose the tunability,
yeah,
with carburetors.
for years, we've got, you know, a really nice shop that I'm proud of. And, it's very, very special to me. I built it from ground up but the dynos, um, I'm just not in the, I don't like always saying about money. I'm just not in my resources aren't as deep as some.
Right.
And when you go a little bit more with timing or a little bit tighter clearances or a little higher RPM,
You hurt a motor.
sometimes you hurt stuff. And I'm just, I'm just not at that point yet. So, I, uh, I back up just a little tiny bit. You know, if your piston's hitting the cylinder head, man, I'll let y'all know from my perspective, when that happens, the piston comes up and it rocks. Okay. And if the gravity, no, the center balance of your piston, if the center balance is right, and it's perfect, and there's no offset, and the piston in our engine at 14,000, it comes up and then the exhaust flips up and then it flips up to go back down. Well, the ring, incidentally, the ring keeps going. So whatever clearance you have in your top ring land, the ring keeps going, but the piston moves with the ring and it hits the head. And when it hits the head, then it sends that shock wave, I think, into the wrist pin, and then from the wrist pin into the rod, and then the rod into the rod bearing.
And then it's done. Yeah.
And then it flattens or cracks or the cave
Damages it.
You know, and that's, you know, Vance and Hines got a bad rap from Matt talking about that stuff. And nobody knows, you know, what was going on, why he hurt cranks, you know, and maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't, you know, we don't know, but it was definitely one of those deals. If you don't like the cranks, don't buy them, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, that whole deal about taking, you know, they boycotted, they boycotted one round in Seattle. It's like they told everybody they were going to do that, is what I remember hearing. And then when they got beat up online, they said, no, we were just saving our parts. And I'm like, well, you're saving your parts. At the start of the year, you showed a huge room. It's like, we don't have Suzukis, we got B twins, and you can get as many parts as you want. So, and they got money, and then they stopped in Kansas City to test. So if you're saving parts and you're testing and you're a professional, not a hobbyist, I don't understand the initiative there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think he might have regretted not taking that last pass because his whatever caused the bike might not far up could have come earlier and he could have caught it at a better time. You know what I mean?
I think Vance and Hines is selling a V twin reluctor wheels or Schneider pickups.
I
What I
mean,
heard. That's just what I heard. That's a rumor. That's just a rumor.
Well, we've hovered all over it, Steve. Tell us your opinion of the current state and parity. What do you think? Because I mean, Dustin and I, we look at stuff and yeah, I mean, like Ollie, I think Dustin and I will both say, you know, early on in the year, it seemed a little lopsided. And then, you know, people were working on, just like you just told everybody, you are constantly working on your program, just like Matt and Angie are working on their program. Eddie and Andrew working on that. You know, everybody's putting in the time, and you have to get down in those trenches and do that. But you know, basically I would say what, since Bristol, Dustin, and everything, like it's
The fuel change.
to us from the outside looking in, we're not involved like y'all, but I mean, it looks like a pretty good mix of, you know, for the most part, parity, just our view of it. So, you know,
I
wouldn't mind
think
hearing yours.
you know, I would love, you know, everybody would love an advantage. You know, I wish I could go hit everybody in the head before they left the line. And, you know, but I really do think it's pretty close. I mean, I would love to get, like I said, a little bit of help, but you know, Matt's bikes all seem to run real good, Gage's bike, you know, it wasn't as fast as theirs, and and uh, um Van Zant was running good. I'm telling you, there's just people just don't understand. One little mistake can affect the
You could go
whole
from a
run.
73 to a 76 or a 7 this
To an
past weekend.
83, to a
Yeah,
73 to an 83.
yeah.
So there's all kinds of little things that are going on. It's just, you know, and the opinions are okay, but I really do think that I really do think that it's really good. We just need to be able to show it now. Um, Chase has helped do that. I think Sonoma is going to be really, really fast. And all the V twin guys are going to be fast. I think when we get to Indy, I think we're going to have an incredible countdown, you guys. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I loved watching your, you know, in your room, your living room or something like that, and you're watching. That's probably in your bathroom. I've heard all about it. That's probably your bathroom TV, right, Dustin?
You talking about my lives?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's in
yeah.
your bathroom, right? So,
I wish I had a TV in my bathroom. That'd be cool.
but that's you know, I think the parity is somewhat okay. NHRA had a meeting with us and told us if you're cheating with the fuel, we can catch you now. We have all the stuff to catch. And then Matt said to them in the meeting, is anybody in our class doing it? And they said no. So I don't know, that to me that said it was happening in pro stock. So my point in bringing that up is the NHRA is pretty savvy in their position. Lonnie manages all that stuff. You know, you know, there's a little bit of controversy on all the John Force stuff and the parachutes and stuff like that. That's all going to work its way out. John's going to be back, and he's better and stronger than ever, I think. But the sanction body, the sanction body doesn't wake up to kibosh somebody because they picked the name out of a hat. They just don't. It doesn't make sense. It
Yeah.
makes no sense. You know, Jackwagon over there, you know, saying they're corrupt and Terry Vance, and that's just, you know, when you're the media, you're not allowed to have an opinion. In my view, you're supposed to be reporting. If you make the story about yourself, you're not the media.
But they're trying to he's trying to influence. That's the problem.
Yeah. So we have you know, I guess I haven't talked to Matt, you know, but you know, it'll be interesting to see. And he'll probably always he's qualified number one and still complained about the rules and stuff. But you know, I think when it all boils down, you know, I think it seems like it's getting pretty darn good.
Now, I haven't kept up with it, and you're well seasoned and know how this stuff works. Well, is it possible to have rule changes during a countdown?
Yes, it absolutely is. They
Okay.
will absolutely do that. And Matt did a really good job in 2022 or 2021. I don't remember. And with the two bikes, and he really, really did a great job of manipulating him. And I'm pretty sure, you know,
That's strategy, right?
it's just an opinion. It's just an
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
But it was his strategy, and it worked really, really good. And the sanction body even told me, you know, they blah blah blah. But you know, that's you know, like you said, there's dreams, and there's all different parts of the dreams, and
Everybody's just got different dreams. You know,
everybody-
Matt's is to get one more championship, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
cool. And yours is to get this next race done so you can make history.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Gage is so young, he probably don't even know. He's just enjoying the dream he's living, you know.
I just like to
And-
get my house paid for. It's like nice.
Me too.
and maybe not gain weight while I'm eating funnel cakes.
I'd like to have that too. That'd be good. I'm on a diet right now, and I eat broccoli and meat.
Yeah,
It'll
for
be
sure.
exciting to our class is going to get really exciting in the countdown. I promise everybody. I'm going to put a nitrous and hide it and cheat like a son of a gun, and you know, whatever it takes.
Well, and I mean, like, here's the thing too, though. look, I get it. Like I would get tired of getting beat too. And Gage obviously made history, right? But at the same token, was it not great to be talking so much about the history and tying it with pro stock motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. And then Chase beat him. Awesome. Kudos. I don't know of anybody that wasn't happy that, to see Chase get his first
Yeah, for
win
sure.
and stuff like that. But like, hey, Gage setting records, beating all the legends of the sport, like that shined a huge light on this class specifically
Oh, yeah.
and put a mark in history for the class in all of NHRA. Now, look,
Yes.
now Gage got beat. Dustin and I'll tell anybody Gage is our friend. We both talk to him, like not on Facebook Messenger. We'll call him. And but hey, I know how he is, and I'm glad he got beaten. I mean, it was needed, and now that's done. But like you said, I mean, everybody. It seems like right now, I don't know who's going to win the next race. I don't. I'll look at the qualifying sheet Sunday morning, and I might log into the DraftKings or something and place a couple small wagers or something. But I want to see who's qualifying, and
That makes it more interesting too for the gamblers. Just like you said when you street racing for bags of money. Well, guess what? You can go right on there in the DraftKings and place your bets and have a good time.
They'd pull out a couple of nuts or whatever out of the bag and then flip that over to me. I'd get a little chunk of that stuff, but it's like, and for the record, it's not Gage. They won 11 straight. It's not because of Gage. It is not because of Gage, and it is not because of the motorcycle, and it's not because of the engines.
I'm interested.
It's because of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Gage, the engines.
Oh, it's a group thing.
The tune-up, the truck driver, the people at the shop. It's everything. It's like, I'm so mad at people that just say it's one person. It ain't one person. This ain't football. We don't have a tackle. We don't have a wide receiver, but it's everybody. It's like, Tommy Fox on our team and Chris Dalton and Jock and
that's why it's called
Robbie,
a team.
Robbie's, I've got a lot of people coming to this race. It's a really, really special race for us. And all the guys that have been helping us lately. So it's just so much fun. Emma working on everything. So her daughter's 6 years old and she brought me a power booster. And I was like, what's a power booster? And she just draws this thing on it. It's a piece of paper. She's 6 years old. She says, here it is. So I taped it to my bike. And then a race later, she said, did you win? I said, no. I said, the power booster ain't really doing anything. She's sick. So she's having a battle of wits with an unarmed man, So I'm like, so I said, yeah, I guess the power booster didn't work. And she says, well, that's not a real one. And I'm like, no. Oh, real quick, I gotta go. Before I gotta tell you. So I'm in the dyno room and I'm doing what I think is the greatest thing in the world, and we're running the engine, and everybody's in there, and we're all intense, and all this stuff's happening, and it's like, I know what happened, but the engine broke, and just the air gets sucked out of the room. If you've ever dynoed and ever put a bunch of money and a whole bunch of time into something, and it just falls through. Oh, it was horrible. And it was just like there was a death. And so it just blows up. The whole air sucked out. Everybody's just like, oh. And in comes Inslee. Who wants the color?
And you know what? You're right about that, because now, Dustin's had him a daughter for years now, and now I have started my family, and you know what? It's hard to not be happy with kids. They make everything better.
Andrew and Eddie, Andrew said something like he was getting beat up about something. I don't know. I think it was the knucklehead guy, and he was just really feeling bad. And he's a human being. Eventually it's gonna hurt. Even with Terry Vance on your side, those guys got a nice path, man. I was gonna say, in all fairness, Vance and Hines should win all the races. When we were winning races in 21, and we were crushing them, there were people who was like, wow, something's wrong. Okay. Because I'm growing up we had a real small trailer then, but wherever I was going with that thing. What was I saying? What was I saying?
Were you
About
talking about
Andrew
marriage?
feeling
The
down.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew says I'd rather go home and be with my kids, and I never really understood that. I have Larry Dixon has a youngest son, and he's my godson, Luke. But his older sister is going to be crazy successful. So I asked if there was a way where I could trade in a godson and get a goddaughter. And it was no disrespect to him. It's just he was going to be a basketball guy, and the daughter was going to be rich because she was going to be in the medical field. So
Yeah.
I was kind of looking out for myself.
Yeah. Got to get that house paid off and eat funnel cakes.
Well, and you touched on a good point too, and I know I think you just said you got to bolt off soon, but maybe that's a good sending point is that, at the end of the day, everybody's a human being and we all need to be kind and support each
Yeah.
other the best we can. And look, as we've all said, we're racers ourselves. I've run some heads up classes and there's been times where I cried about the rules. And I've had rules changes go against me and it's not always fun, but at the end of the day, someone somewhere is trying to make the right decision and, get things going. So we all try to be kind.
Have some gratitude in your heart, man.
That's right.
I tell the McGahays, and it's fascinating to hang out with pro stock car guys. Oh my God. It's like I got to take an engine apart at his shop and help put one together. Oh my God. It's like those engines were 250,000 to rent, for at a time. And I lived in all those ages. So it's like to hang out with him is just so much fun. But have some gratitude, think of broccoli, think of your health. Remember safety glasses, man. Safety glasses. It's such an easy thing to do. So you can't do what you want to do tomorrow if you kibosh your plan, man, if you hurt yourself. So be happy and don't rely on money to create that happiness.
I
Awesome.
appreciate the history lesson, man. It was great
Yeah,
to
this
have you
was
on here.
an exciting,
It's a sermon.
exciting
It's a
interview.
sermon.
Yeah, it
no,
was awesome.
This was great. Anything else? Any last remarks? You got
No,
anything?
I'm
You're all
good, man.
done. You ready?
Really
All right.
excited
Enjoy
about
your
the
500th race this
The
weekend.
500th, yeah. It's like the shirt is on our website, and
Go support Steve and his racing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's gonna help, but it's really it's part of the history, with the Wax Shop Dash, the K&N, the Ringers, the K&N Clash, and the Ringers Battle, and the hall, all those specialty races that we used to do in the 90s and the early 2000s that paid a lot of money and lots of TV time. It's like
It sounds like you're about to have a call out, which is cool.
Yeah.
So all of these things are very special. And they're pieces of it's moments of time. And these moments of time, I feel like it's so important for us to remember those, because our memories is what we have.
Well, real quick, one last thing. And I know, and I hope you really soak it in this weekend. I know you will, but you've had 499. Is there one or two that really stands out? I mean, I know there's got to be a few, but is there
the Indy race, the winning
the
double
Indy?
ups, the first race, winning my first race, my 17 years we raced. My mom says, well, how about construction, or how about working as a box boy? They're paying $15 an hour at Vons, and it's like, I just wanted to make $1 million. I was with Slick 50. They offered me a cup ride. I could have drove a cup car,
Holy
back
cow.
in the day. And not that I knew how or I would have been successful, but the opportunity was there. So, the first race back after COVID, the race that we won when Jock had his hair all chopped off because he lost
Right.
his hair. My God, I didn't cry, but it's like, that was to win that race was special, man. Everybody congratulated him, and those things.
Beating Gage.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was a neat deal, but I saw the red light and I just was pushing the button and I did
Saving the motor.
Yeah, I did some crazy stuff thinking that I was going to do better, but there a lot of them are very, very special. Topeka, Kansas. I was number 19 on the list of all of the racers selling T-shirts. For a time being, that was really special when we do die cast, or we'd bootleg a couple of shirts here and there from people that saw. When people come up and say, "Man, da 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 da, remember this picture?" and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's your son." It's like, "No, that's me." I'm like,
Oh, goodness.
So we have
Mm,
special races
yeah.
every single race. Like I said, when we go talk to 400 students,
Yeah.
I'm not that guy that says if we could just reach one, we could just reach one. I don't want to reach one. I want to reach 394 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to reach them all. In my opinion of how driving happiness can and a career can be. So
For sure.
look at we helped all the ASE conference instructors. They have to have 20 hours of professional development a year. And they came to the ASE conference and some of them went through my program, and I talked about porting and digitizing and stuff I barely know about, but I talked about cam timing, and there was an engine guy in the audience. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing. It's like he came up later and I'm like, oh my God, I hope I didn't stick my foot in my mouth. And I was trying to be I wanted to give them enough. I wanted to give them some more game. So when they went back and the students say, "What did you learn?" They had something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only listen to Permatex about the hardening kind and the softening kind for, an hour. You can only listen to Permatex for so long.
For sure. Well, I know I learned a lot on this interview, and one of the big takeaways I have is that you have devoted your entire life to this, and you've accomplished a lot of things that might not be in record books, but just the lives you have touched, obviously it's in the thousands. So
That's awesome.
and
It's fun.
like I said, Dustin and I, we really appreciate you taking time to join us, on this out of your busy schedule, and we were super excited. I'm amped up. I'll be up late tonight for sure.
And don't post nothing on that other guy's thing until he calms down and gets back to right hollering or whatever he does. Just stay away. Stay away from him and support you guys. You guys are so fun. I listened to your podcasts, and I really liked Eric's, and I reached out to him and had a good talk, and I just love him. And Joe at WFO, he has a great a great podcast. But thank you so much for the opportunity, guys.
Thank you, Steve,
thank you.
and obviously good luck and kick some butt this weekend.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.